Good morning, friends. We're going to do a what I eat in a day video today. And I actually have a CGM on right now, right there. And I haven't had a CGM on for quite a few months. About a year or so ago, I started working with NutriSense, and I did a lot of CGMs kind of back to back for a lot of weeks and months, and learned a lot of good information, and shared that on my what I eat in a day videos. So I'd have my what I eat, and then we'd go over all of my blood sugar. I haven't done that for a while, and it kind of got to the point while I was eating, pretty keto, that it wasn't really adding much new information to me, because I knew all of the keto stuff that I ate really kept my blood sugar pretty steady. And it was just like, you could just guess, you just know that everything's fine. So it ended up getting to the point where it wasn't very helpful information, which is the point you want to get. You want to use the tool to get the information, and then you can, move on without the tool. The idea is not that you need the tool forever, unless, you are a diabetic or something like that, where it becomes a all the time use thing. But since then, I have actually started adding a lot more carbs to my diet. If you followed my coaching sessions with Jonathan Shane, he got me going on about 100 grams of carbs per day. Since then, I've actually even increased my carbs a little bit more, somewhere between 100 and 150 usually. And I've been feeling really good. I've had lots of, great benefits from adding the carbs into my diet, from satiety to sleep. I probably should go and make a list of all of the improvements and positive things I've seen from adding some more carbs to my diet. But since I haven't been actively wearing a CGM, I, am curious to see what my blood sugar is doing. I don't feel like I'm having major blood sugar swings or negative blood sugar symptoms, but sometimes it's really helpful just to see the numbers and check things out. So I figured that I would go ahead and wear a CGM and check my numbers and kind of do tests, because just because you can handle, carbs from bananas or carbs from sweet potatoes doesn't mean your body responds the exact same way to carbs from rice or, some kinds of fruit or, different things like that. Just knowing a certain number of carbs that you can manage is somewhat helpful, although the types of carbs also make a difference. So anyways, I'm going to be doing, while I have the CGM on, I'm going to be doing some what I eat in a day videos and following along with my blood sugar. So you can kind of see in real time. In the keto world, there's this assumption that that carbs just inherently spike your blood sugar. And that kind of leads to the idea that carbs are poison and that no one should have them. And I don't believe that personally, and I know that some people can handle them better than others, and it's kind of a personal thing, I think. So maybe for some people it's not worth the benefits they might see adding carbs to their diet because of the other negatives that they have due to wherever they're at with their metabolism and all of that. And I feel like it's a really personal thing, so I just wanted to make some videos where I'm sharing my own experience, and as always, this is my own experience. And so if I eat a certain type of carbs and they work well for me or don't work well for me, that doesn't necessarily mean anything for you, except maybe that it will encourage you to do your own experimentation to find out what works well for you and what doesn't. So that's, why I'm sharing this. It's as always, an N=1 type thing. It's never meant to be any kind of medical advice or proving that a certain food is good or bad or anything like that. Just sharing my experience. So for my first meal today, I have yogurt with some peanut butter whey protein powder from Marigold Foods. Absolutely love Marigold Foods whey protein powders. They have a lot of different flavors, and I chose peanut butter today, and I have banana on top. So that's what it looks like. So I did, for the yogurt, since I'm making my own El Roederer yogurt again and different fermented dairies with different probiotics, I did 4 ounces of my homemade half and half yogurt. So it's pretty high fat, and because it is pretty high fat, and because I'm adding more carbs to my diet, I'm a little more careful about how much fat I add. When I was on keto, it was kind of like you can really eat as much fat as you feel like. I I felt like I could. But then once I started adding some carbs to my diet, I try to be a little bit more mindful of just adding all of the fat, because there is such a thing as energy toxicity, having too much carbs and fat together. So I am just more mindful of it. So I have 4 ounces of my half and half homemade yogurt, and that's mixed with 4 ounces of non-fat Greek yogurt. I get the non-fat Greek yogurt usually from Costco. It kind of just brings that fat macro down in the meal to mix the half and half yogurt, where I'm still getting the probiotic benefits, but then it adds a little bit of the non-fat yogurt with the extra protein. And then I have my 1 serving of the peanut butter whey from Marigold that adds 20 grams of protein to the meal, which is fantastic. And then I have it was a pretty big, probably between medium and large size banana. I measured it out. It was almost 5 ounces of banana here. And so I am going to consume this, and we will see how my blood sugar responds. So I'm in here in my NutriSense app, and I'm going to hit the plus down here on the bottom and add a meal. I am going to, it's breakfast. I'm going to do a photo, and they have this new like AI thing where they try to guess what your food is. And I don't typically use that because I'm tracking my food in Carb Manager, so I get all my exact macros there. So when I'm adding something here in NutriSense, I just give a brief description, and I always know I can go check and see exact macros in my Carb Manager app. Let's see, protein yogurt with banana, and they have this like calorie counting thing, and I just get rid of all of that because I don't want them to guess how many calories are in all the things when I have it exactly in my Carb Manager. So I have my meal there as the red dot, and we will see where I'm at in 2 hours. A quick break to chat about Armor Colostrum, who is the sponsor of the video today. I have been using Armor Colostrum for many, many months now, and I absolutely love all the benefits that I see from it. There are so many things that colostrum can support in our bodies. Like, the list is kind of mind-blowing, but a couple of the benefits that I am really excited about are how it supports gut health. I have learned over the past couple of years just how incredibly impactful gut health can be for our entire well-being. So I love how Armor Colostrum supports my gut health and digestion. I also love that it supports hair growth. I've been dealing with some hormone issues over the last year that can cause a lot of hair loss. And so having that extra support from the Armor Colostrum is really important to me. I take 3 or 4 scoops of Armor Colostrum per day as part of my regular routine. And you can, dissolve it into like a cold liquid. You don't want to do it in hot, but you can dissolve it into a drink. But I actually like the taste of it, so I scoop it directly into my mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. It just has a nice creamy, milky taste, and I actually enjoy it. And apparently it's also good for your oral microbiome. So if Armor Colostrum seems like something you want to check out, they have given me a special discount to offer to you guys. You can get 15% off of your first order just by using my link, tryarmra.com/indigo. That's tryarmra.com/indigo. Use that link and it'll automatically get you that 15% off. Thanks again to Armra for sponsoring the video today. I'm starting to get hungry, so I'm going to throw together some lunch. Decided to keep it real simple and do one of my just meats entrees. This is the Texas rub chicken thigh. It's really simple ingredients. The marinade is very, very simple. And let's see, it's got 9 grams of fat per serving, 0 carbs, 28 grams of protein. So I'm going to cook this up. Oh, and I did get a comment from a viewer saying that they checked with Just Meats and found out that you actually have to add the nutrition facts of the marinades that come with the meats separately. It's not included. I just assumed that since everything was in the package together, that the nutrition facts were for everything in the package, but apparently that's not the case. So this nutrition fact only applies to the meat portion, and you have to add the nutrition facts from the sauce packet. This one, super easy because it's 0 on everything, because it's basically just like a chicken broth, I guess. So anyways, I did want to mention that for sure. And so I'm going to cook that up, and then I'm also going to peel and cut up this sweet potato. I got these at the store at the produce market the other day. I showed you guys that in a grocery haul video, and I was thinking, since they were called purple yams, I think, that they'd be purple on the inside. And sadly, the one that I cooked the other day was not. It was just white on the inside, which made me sad. So I'm going to cut that up and air fry it with some vegetables. As far as blood sugar response, it is important to know that different cooking methods can cause different reactions. Like a boiled sweet potato is probably going to be more blood sugar friendly than an air fried or roasted sweet potato. So I am keeping that in mind. So if if I were to have this air fried and have a bad blood sugar response, it might be worth also trying, boiled or mashed sweet potato in a meal, and not just, saying sweet potatoes are a no-go forever, but doing something that would kind of help blunt that response. So just wanted to mention that, but I am going to go ahead and do the air fryer sweet potato today with the veggies and the chicken. And I also wanted to mention that I am having the carbs in the context of a full meal that includes like fiber and protein and fat. A lot of times you'll see videos on Instagram and stuff where people are like, let's try a banana, and they just eat a banana and then show what their blood sugar did 2 hours later, which is interesting and good to know. But what you eat with the carb really does affect how your body handles that blood sugar, or that sugar that's coming in. And so since I don't typically just sit down and eat a plain sweet potato, it doesn't really make sense to test it by itself. It makes sense to test it in the context of a full meal, which is, what I'm doing. So just, keep that in mind. And what you have in the meal does affect the blood sugar response. So, there's always variables. So none of this is supposed to be like scientific evidence of anything. Just putting all that out there. All kinds of different variables can affect, but doing all these different tests just gives me a better idea of what my body can handle, and not necessarily definitive 100% facts to write down in stone. So I have a little over 7 ounces of the sweet potato that I weighed before I cooked it, sprayed it with a little bit of avocado oil, and seasoned with Redmond's seasoned salt. I did the same thing to my veggies. I had 8 ounces of those before cooking again. And then I got 7 ounces of the Texas rub chicken thigh, and I'm going to add some garnish. I have my little garnish container in the fridge. So I'm adding some onions and cilantro. And since I am now growing my own sprouts, I feel obligated to add them to every meal I possibly can. I didn't add them to my breakfast yogurt. Thought that was going a little too far, but maybe I should have. So anyways, gonna add some sprouts. They're so fun, and they add this like nice freshness to the top of like whatever I'm making. It just elevates it. It looks like it was, from a fancy restaurant or something. So that makes me happy. And the fact that I grew them myself also makes me very, very happy. I'm gonna do about 1 ounce of these. Close enough. Here is my dinner. I have one of the Parmesan black pepper sausage links and 2 ounces of the chickpea pasta. It was Chickpea brand. I just picked that up recently. I hadn't tried it before. It's pretty good. It's not great plain. It has kind of a funny flavor plain, but when you cover it in pesto, it covers it up pretty good. And I have it covered with sun-dried tomato pesto. I made that in a food prep video recently, so I'll link that up in the cards. And then I have a little bit of cottage cheese, 4 ounces, for some creaminess and some added protein. For an after dinner treat, I am gonna have one of my citrus salt element sparklings. So here's a look at my blood sugar graph for the day. You can see the first blue dot is when I woke up in the morning. The last blue dot is when I went to bed, I believe. Yes. When I went to bed, 10:28 p.m. And then the 3 red dots are my 3 meals throughout the day. So for my breakfast, the protein yogurt with banana, I got a score of 100 on that, 100 out of 100 on everything. My blood sugar started at 90, peaked at 110. So that is a 20-point rise, which is well within a healthy range. And then 2 hours later, I was at an 84. So beautiful on that one. On my lunch, I got a score of 98. My recovery wasn't quite perfect. I wasn't quite close enough to baseline after that 2-hour mark. So I started with a blood sugar of 99, peaked at 125, and then 2 hours later was 105. Then the dinner, the chickpea pasta with sausage and cottage cheese, got 100 score on that one. I started with a blood sugar of 86, peaked at 95, and then had a blood sugar of 86 2 hours later. So that was beautiful. I have noticed that my dinner meals, I tend to not go as high on my blood sugar, even when I eat, the same thing as a lunch and then another day as a dinner. I seem to have a better blood sugar response in the evening at dinner time rather than earlier in the day, which is kind of interesting. So learning all kinds of new things. My daily average on here is 93, which is good. And as always with CGMs, it's not so much about the exact numbers. For that, you should use a prick glucose monitor. That's a little bit more accurate if you want to know exactly where you're at. What the CGM does really well is show you changes over time. So the 93 could be 10 points higher than it actually is. It could be 10 points lower than it actually is. That really isn't as important as just seeing the changes, how your blood sugar responds throughout the day. The ups and downs is really where the CGM shines. So I tend to not put a whole lot of stock in that daily average, although within the 2 weeks that you're using the same CGM, it can be interesting to see the daily average change, because you'd think that within the same CGM, you would be able to see the average going up or down. But comparing one CGM to the next is not super accurate. So over here at my daily glucose score, I got 100 out of 100 on all of that. My variability was 8 today, and variability is important to look at because it's showing how far above or below baseline you went throughout the day. And so 8 is really good. You want it to be below 14 is really good. Let's see there. So below 14 is good. 14 or below is good. 15 to 20 is okay. And above or equal to or above 21 needs improvement. So 8, pretty good. Very happy with that. My minimum blood sugar for the day was 74. The highest it got to was 125. So no worries there. Sleep average, morning average. Those are the trends. Oh, so they gave me a 100 on the glucose score and then 99 on the meal score, just because I had the one meal that wasn't quite perfect. 99 on recovery here because my 2-hour glucose wasn't back to baseline on that lunch. So all in all, I'm happy about how my body handled all these carbs today. Let's go over to Carb Manager so I can show you how all of my macros ended up. I got a pretty close to even pie chart here, cut into thirds, which is kind of fun. I got 137.7 grams of protein. I got 74 grams of fat. Like I mentioned, I am reducing my fat when I'm eating higher carb. You just can't have both. So since I'm playing with the carbs, I'm going a little lower fat, but still not crazy low. I mean, still getting 74 grams of good quality fat in there. So happy with that, feeling good. Calories were 1,836 and total carbs were 150.5. Net carbs were 123.2. So considering my carbs were at 150, I am very thrilled with how my blood sugar responded. If you had asked me a year ago what my body would do if at some point I was eating 150 carbs a day, I probably would have said, it's going to be, blood sugar spiking all the time, feeling terrible, blood sugar ups and downs, all the things. So to be at the place where I'm at right now, where my body handles carbs really well and I get to enjoy carbs and enjoy the benefits of the carbs and not have my blood sugar go out of control, I am just over the moon with it. And then also still getting all the benefits of the good protein, still getting benefits of healthy fats. Like, I feel like I'm getting the best of all worlds at this point, and I'm loving it. I don't always go as high as 150 carbs per day. A lot of times I'm down at the 100 range, so it just kind of varies depending on the day. But that is it for my what I eat in a day blood sugar video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm planning on doing some more before this CGM runs out, so you can look forward to some more here pretty soon, and I will just see you in the next one.